One of the most disappointing players in the NBA has been Jordan Poole. After being traded to the Washington Wizards, Poole was a player I thought would be a breakout star this season. While he had his ups and downs, he was still a really productive player on a title team and playoff team over his previous 2 seasons, and was still really young, and I've always been high on his talent. But he's been very underwhelming with the Wizards, and honestly, even the way he's been underwhelming is really just sad, because even my idea of him potentially being bad before the season is far from what the reality of the season has been for him. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down what the problem has been with Poole on the Wizards, and if he could potentially turn it around and get back on track to being that future star that he looked like with the Warriors. But quickly before we go any further, if you're new and like basketball, I would really appreciate if you would like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and notify whenever I release a video. I make videos about basketball all the time, and liking and subscribing are the 2 best ways can help me out in the YouTube algorithm, help support the channel, and help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Let's try and get 100 likes on this video so YouTube will recommend it to others. Anyways, let's talk about Jordan Poole. Through 18 games, Jordan Poole is averaging 17.2 points per game, 2.8 rebounds per game, and 3.5 assists per game on 39.1, 28.6, 85.5 splits, and a 50.4 true shooting percentage. Now, he hasn't been the main option on the Wizards, but that's for good reason, because Kyle Kuzma has flat out just been a much better player. Now, what has led to Poole being so inefficient? Especially considering over his previous 2 seasons, he averaged 19.5 points per game on a 58.4 true shooting percentage. Part of it is definitely his shot selection, which has been a problem even when he was good. He's taking a lot of questionable shots, to say the least. But the bigger issue for me is the confidence, because while the shot selection has been bad, it was still something that was a part of his game even when he was an efficient player, so it can't be the only factor. He's also missing shots he usually hits. He's still creating space while he's showcasing that Spider-Man-like ability to create separation, but he's just missing shots, and that to me is a combination of a shooting slump and a lack of confidence, which I do think can somewhat be attributed to how his final season with the Warriors ended and then being traded after. Even though his volume and usage are similar to what they were last season, he feels more timid. He feels not necessarily less aggressive, but less decisive when he decides to be aggressive. While these things can be a double-edged sword at times, confidence and aggression were what made Poole a good player in Golden State. In the moment, he thought what he was doing was right, even when it wasn't. And again, that's a double-edged sword. But now it feels like he's questioning everything he does, even though he's taking around the same amount of shots and has the same amount of usage, and the confidence just hasn't been there in Washington. It honestly really makes me sad that Poole is struggling the way he is. I thought there was a chance he would be bad going into this season, even if I viewed him as a breakout candidate because I'm so high on his talent, but he hasn't been bad in the way I thought he would be. I thought it would be him taking a bunch of shots and being inefficient, like 33 points on 31 shot type games, but he's averaging less field goal attempts per game compared to last season, and his usage is lower compared to last season. Even though it's marginal, it still is down. I thought even if he was going to be bad, it would be a fun bad. Ambitious shots, streaky shooting, inconsistencies. One night he has like 50 points on great efficiency, the next night he has like 10 points and takes 25 shots, high volume. But the reality is he's just been bad in a normal way. Now, is it over for Poole? It's too early to say that. It's been 18 games so far, and he has prior seasons where he's been really good. It's very possible he does turn it around. He wouldn't be the first and wouldn't be the last player to turn it around after a slow start. But the question now is there anything to suggest that he can turn it around. Well, one thing he has been decent at this season is finishing. He's shooting 60.5% at the rim on 4.2 attempts per game. Not a monster rim pressure threat by any means, but he hasn't been bad at it either. He uses his handle, speed, and quickness to get to the basket. He uses his body control and flexibility to finish around defenders. It's an area he mostly has maintained the level of efficiency he had in Golden State. If this is just a shooting slump and he does turn it around as a shooter, he will go back to at least being what he was in Golden State from a production and efficiency standpoint. And his finishing in general is the one area I view as a positive with him so far, based off the tape that I've watched. Another thing I looked into was actually something I found way more interesting than I thought I would. I compared his first 18 games as a Wizard to another former Warriors guard through his first 18 games as a Wizard in Gilbert Arenas. Now remember, Poole is averaging 17.2 points per game, 2.8 rebounds per game, and 3.5 assists per game on 39.1, 28.6, 85.5 splits, and a 50.4 true shooting percentage in 29.4 minutes per game. Gilbert Arenas in his first 18 games with the Wizards averaged 18.8 points per game, 4.9 rebounds per game, 4.9 assists per game on 39.2, 34, 69.2 splits, and a 49.9 true shooting percentage in 35.9 minutes per game. Now, I'm not saying that Poole is the next Gilbert Arenas. You can't just look at these two things and say, yep, it's a slam dunk guarantee that he will turn it around and be the next Gilbert, even if they have some similarities, like how they were both drafted in similar ranges by the Warriors, and both ended up on the Wizards at a young age after showing promise with the Warriors. The reason I'm not going to jump on this idea that Poole is the next Arenas is because it's not like I can confidently say Poole will ever be as good as Arenas. Gilbert Arenas was a monster at his peak. He was the original James Harden, Trae Young type of player, taking a lot of threes and getting to the line. And I truly believe at his peak he was incredible, to the point that if his peak was 3 to 4 years longer than it actually was, he would be in the Hall of Fame right now. That's how good Gilbert Arenas was at his peak. I just wanted to use this as an example of another guard under similar circumstances being really good, to at least leave the door open on the idea of Poole turning it around. What Poole needs to do in order to get back on the trajectory he was prior to this season is simple. He needs to get his confidence back. He needs to get out of this shooting slump. Now, those are two things that are a lot easier said than done. It's far from a guarantee he gets back on track. But he also is too talented and has shown too much prior to this season for me to believe it's out of the cards that he does turn it around. He was a key piece on a Warriors team that won the title. He averaged 20 points per game on good efficiency last season for a playoff team. I understand he's a volatile player. I understand the shot selection concerns. I understand the decision making and mistakes are frustrating. I understand why a decent amount of fans don't like him. But it's hard for me to believe he all of a sudden just became a bad player. I think it's about more than just quote-unquote losing ability because Draymond punched him. That might be the case, but realistically, it probably isn't. And when I watched the tape, that honestly made me question if I loved this sport, considering how much Wizards tape I watched. I do feel like it's a confidence thing. And with Poole, confidence is key. Whether he turns it around or not is something only time will tell. But I think if he does become more confident and more comfortable, he will turn it around. But again, that's far from guarantee. When he's locked in and playing well, when he's in the groove, when he's in the zone and is super high as a scorer, there are few players more fun to watch than him, which is why I'm really rooting for him to turn this around and prove a lot of people wrong. But that's the end of this video. If you made it to this point, thank you so much. Again, haven't already, like, subscribe, hit notification bell, I'm notified whenever I release a video. I make videos about basketball all the time, and liking and subscribing are the two best ways that can help me out in the YouTube algorithm, help support the channel, and help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Let's try and get 100 likes on this video so YouTube will recommend it to others. Let me know what you think about Jordan Poole in the comment section below. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this video was one that was really sad for me to make because I'm a big Jordan Poole fan. I loved him at Michigan. He had an awful rookie year, and seeing his rise with Golden State was so fun to watch because he statistically had one of the worst rookie seasons ever, and he became this really fun and really effective player with them and helped them win a title. But this is just not that same player right now, and I hope he can turn it around. But before I do head out, I want to give a major shout out to my friend Connor. You guys know him as 3Cone, because this video would not be possible without him. So I went to make the graphics for this video, and the remove background feature on the software that I use wasn't working. So I wasn't able to make the graphics on my own. I reached out, he got back to me, and he helped make the graphics. So basically every graphic that you've seen in this video, he made. And this video again would not be possible without him, because graphics are a huge part of the videos that I make. So thank you to Connor. You guys can check out his YouTube channel. If you are watching this video, you probably know who he is. He doesn't really need the shout out. He's a lot bigger than me, but I'm really appreciative of what he does. I'll link his channel in the description below, in the pinned comment. Go check out his work. He does amazing stuff. But with that being said, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.